All right. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to yet another TapDaddyBeats stream. I hope you guys are having a good Thursday. And yeah, today we got a mixing session ahead of us. Pretty important one too. I'll explain in a minute, really what we are mixing down today. But yeah, real quick, if you guys are trying to find my music, I am TapDaddy on all platforms. This is where you can find me. And yeah, we're listening to my newest single. It's called Non Compos Mentis. It's a nice little boom bap banger, you know? And yeah, I recently dropped this EP, Sunrise Serenade. If you're trying to find my most recent project, that's what we got going on there. What's up, the Speedy Rapper? How you doing, man? He's like, I'm your biggest fan. Hey, thank you. How's your day going, dude? But yeah, Sunrise Serenade is out. I've also got another EP on the way in 7 days, 8 hours, 58 minutes, and 38 seconds. So boom, Snack Time for Turtles coming out soon. You guys watched me mix that whole entire EP down and make that entire EP right here. So if you're trying to catch that, here's a little pre-save link to the EP. But yeah, we should probably just start diving into it today. So as you guys could probably tell from the title of this stream, we're going to be mixing down something for my upcoming album, The Low Key Plan. And in fact, today, we get the honor of mixing down the title track to The Low Key Plan. You guys are going to be the first people that have ever heard this song, first of all. You guys are definitely the first people that'll know, that this is the title track. But, I'm excited to dive into this. Just a bit about this track is I feel like this song earned the title of the title track, The Low Key Plan. Because I feel like this song just best encapsulates what the energy of the album is, what the album is, It's kind of a come-up album, it's the low-key plan. It's everything that I've been working towards for years now, honestly. And I don't know, this whole album is kind of a let's get this bread kind of an album. So, without further ado, let's dive into it. And let me give you guys the first look at the low-key plan. Let's hear our first pass. I hope this is all loaded in right. I have spent all morning downloading new plugins, trying to get this all set up on this computer. I hope this sounds all right. But let's see where we're starting with the title track for the Low Key Plan. So there you guys have it. That's Man, this album is going to be 26 tracks of basically this stuff, you know? Thank you to Speedy Rappa, man. I'm so happy with this. I am so happy with this being the title track. Oh, we got some nonsense over here. Yeah, I was messing around with some of the vibraphone chords. Let me go ahead and delete this before we forget about it, right? We don't need that. But yeah, the song, it sounds like it's in a great place. And in fact, I would say that this is already feeling pretty well mixed down. Really what we're going for, though, is we want to make this sound very vibrant. We really want to make sure these drums are knocking, that the bass is bumping. You guys will see that's going to be kind of a fun little challenge for us because the bass line is actually baked into this sample material, and we might be doing some interesting things to it to get it to really crisp up right, you know? But yeah, the low-key plan. Dude, I'm so excited to dive into this. We're going to pull out all the stops today and make sure that this sounds immaculate, you know? The goal for today is to get this fully mixed down and mastered and ready to ship. So let's see how we do on that. So, one thing at a time, I usually like to start with the drums. What do we have on our drums? We've just got Ableton's stock drum bus, over these Dilla kind of sounding drums. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's Starved Potato. That's right. You got all the different names, man. I recognize the Speedy Rappa, right? I remember you in stream the other day. I definitely know you as Starved Potato in Echo Shot, you know, from our Twitch stream. I'm glad I was able to connect that. I'm glad you mentioned it so I can kind of connect the two. But yeah, welcome on in, dude. It's good to see you again. Hell yeah. No, that's actually really helpful because I feel like sometimes, you know what's really weird is when I get to know somebody on Twitch and I like know them for a long while and then like they wander into my YouTube and I get to know them basically again and I don't realize that they're the same person until like, you know, months later. It's always fun. Hey, Mammy, how's it going? Welcome on in. How you doing? Hell yeah, we got all the homies here. Hell yeah. But yeah, welcome on in, Mammy. How's your day going? Let's kind of start with the drums a little bit. I also just kind of want to take a peek at this intro. Let's just start kind of like thumbing through this a little bit. So what do we really got going on for this? I remember, so I did something kind of funny for this intro. I kind of composed something, you know, by layering on a bunch of different stuff, right? I used like a sample and then I layered on like this sax lick, I believe. This. So you see, I was like doing stuff like this where I take an existing sample, I layer on a bunch of instrumentation and whatnot, and then I basically compressed it all together, OTT, and like really, you know, made this this intro. So that's good. But yeah, Mammy says I'm good, just taking a break from Photoshop. Oh, hell yeah. Well, cheers. I hope the Photoshopping is going well. Now you get to, you know, peek in on my tedious task of the day. But yeah, and we've also got this crowd, and you guys will notice that I have both of these in mono. I kind of like this, where we really simplify the mix before we open it up in the full track, right? I like that sort of contrast here. Now, this sample material is going to stay mono, though. It's more of like all of these little details that we really want to kind of engulf it on the sides and whatnot. Okay, so we got like a guitar here. Ooh, and I just heard a little bit of fuzz from something it may have been this guy. We got this OTT. Sometimes what happens with the OTT, I love it because it really crisps things up, you know, really makes things sound really intense. But with all of this really intense compression, sometimes we get this top end fuzz that comes with it. And we're going to try to minimize that, but keep the brightness of it. So let's pin down where we heard that, first of all. See, I'm like hearing some fuzz and whatnot. You guys hear that? Yeah, that's what we're hearing, is that top end fuzz. Let me pull on here OTT. This is the plugin. I think it's this upward. Even if we could just minimize it, that would be great. That might be enough. And we can even hear some of that fuzz in some of these other elements too. We're going to try to minimize all of this, you know? Yeah, we get a lot of that fuzz. It's like all these tiny things that, you know, like it seems really small. And, you know, I think good mixing is the culmination of a lot of small fixes that over time, you know, you're like, okay, it's 2% better here, it's 3% better here. But over the course of time, it adds up to something that is 10% better, 20% better, 60% better, you know? It's like all that patience, you know? It really, yeah. Yeah. Starved Potatoes saying, yeah, the fact that you heard that is crazy to me. I've kind of, I guess, gotten a little bit of, like maybe my ears are kind of scanning for that because it's an issue that I run into a lot with OTT. It's just time spent with these tools is really, I guess, what it is, you know? So let's try to minimize this. Okay, so man, I'm going to have to really take a lot of this OTT off. But you see, I don't think that sounds too different from where we had it beforehand. We had it all the way up here. Okay, maybe we didn't have it all the way up there. See, it's like just so intense. Okay, so I'm thinking like here's like I guess my thoughts on this. I want to focus on getting it clean first, and then we are going to focus on vibrance after we've got it sounding really clean, right? So let's, you know, even if we need to take this OTT off, that's fine. We'll find other ways to crisp it up, you know? Okay, that's not too bad. Let's bring that depth down a bit. There we go. Okay. So now let's hear this together because that's the only thing that matters is how these all sound together. Okay, so we're definitely going to need to bring this up in volume. This definitely changed the volume of this, and we're going to have to kind of do a little bit of gain staging, you know, just adjusting the decibel volumes of things. I imagine that as we mess with all of this, like we, you know, did this down here. Yeah, okay. Well, looks like I've got my work cut out for me here, you know? Let's try to find other places where we're getting that OTT fuzz. Let's try to get that out of here. Oh, here we go. this song is hard, dude. So, last Saturday, I was telling you guys about how I had kind of like made this vibraphone, and I wasn't able to get it to work on stream. But this is the vibraphone that I was talking about, where I did so much nonsense to this. Like, this is just like a stock vibraphone that came with Ableton 12. It sounds super basic without all of this craziness, right? But I've got it fed into a drum bus, first of all. And I kind of want to explain that. Look, drum bus allows me to turn the transients down. Basically, I'm like, give me more impact and less ringing, right? I want to make the hits a little bit more punchy. Cool. So then I'm like, all right, we got the impact sounding good. Let's blast this through some OTT. You guys have just heard what OTT's doing, right? Really flattens the dynamics of it, really bringing it forward. So we got impact, and now we have body. Right? Sketch cassette, this just gives it a little bit more compression, a little bit of extra brightness to it, I suppose. The LA2A compressor, now we're into classical compression. I'm just really squeezing the dynamics of it a little bit further. Vinyl, this is really kind of like doing what this EQ is doing. It's shortening the range of it. But this, you know, EQ kind of takes off some of these highs, takes off some of these unnecessary lows that we've picked up from all of this compression. You know, it's like, man, I really just experimented with this until I had a vibraphone that sounds really good, that I like, but now it's sounding a little bit quiet. Boosting it by like 1 dB. It's fine. Take a look at these instruments down here. Do we have anything on them? No, they're actually running dry. That's perfect. That's good. They're not like contributing any muddiness, really. I love this little counterpoint interaction. That is just so beautiful. Then we got this like little old piano upright, you know, sample paired with this glockenspiel in opposite ears of each other, and they're doing counterpoint to each other. So it's like, I don't know, we get this really good counterpoint interaction just melodically, but also in the mix, they're also like spread to the sides opposite of each other. So it's just like this really nice like walk down, you know? I love doing shit like this, man. Woo! God damn, this is sounding cool. All right. So, let's just take a little peek under the hood, see what our max peak is. Good God, we are at positive 4.59. That is a lot. That is too much, man. Let's turn these down. Let's turn like everything down. Now I've got a lot of groups in here, so I'll have to like kind of be mindful of how I do this. But let's take everything down by like 10 decibels, basically. But yeah, you like that? I love shit like that. It's so much fun. Oh yeah. All right, so everything down by 10 decibels. So I'm gonna turn the groups down, but not the individual tracks. Let's do this one at a time. 10. Okay. And then this guy down through, how far down can I go? all the way down to here, and we can delete that MIDI track, but okay. And then this can come down 10. Okay, and this guy is also not doing anything for us. Okay, so yeah, I just turned the volume down. I would invite you guys to turn your volume up. It's a good time to turn your volume up. Let's delete that track. Let's make sure that we have nothing in this MIDI track. Doesn't look like it. Cool. Let's delete that guy as well. We don't need him. All right. So now that we've brought it below 0, like, it should sound a little bit cleaner just inherently. We'll have less clipping and stuff. So let's just maybe see kind of what we got going on here. All right, I'm gonna turn up my volume too. Do we want, I don't know, I might mess with the rate of delay for this guy. What if we did it like this instead? I'm just curious how this will sound. That might be better. I don't know. I kind of like that. It's a little bit of a production decision there, but it's okay. Okay, now I feel like we can really start sinking our teeth into this. This is sounding pretty clean. I feel like we might want to do a real quick, just like gain stage pass, and then we'll probably get to work on these drums. All right, how do we feel about volume of intro compared to drop? This all sounds golden. Let's turn this guy up. It's also just take an EQ, kind of, I don't know, it feels like it might be starting to get buried in, you know, some of these mids or something. Yeah, like, let's also just take a peek over at our sample material. Okay, so yeah, really, so long as what's going on in this range is louder than what's going on up here in the sample material at that range, this should come out pretty clean. It's just a matter of if it's going to sound kind of natural there. Okay, we want kind of a wide bell here to kind of get all of these first resonance that are like just a little bit below 1K. Bring this up a bit. Let's actually bring this down a decibel now. That doesn't sound too bad, yeah. Can this maybe move to the left a little bit more? Because, boy, this is like really off to the right. It's just naturally how that one shot sounds. I feel like now this is feeling a little bit louder the more I move it off to the left a little bit. Let's bring this down 1 decibel. I feel like I can really go as wide as I want here, really. Like, how would it sound? I don't know. I'm just curious, just throwing shit at the wall. It's not like we're gonna break it, right? Hard pan, hard pan. Maybe. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes rather than soft panning, like if hard panning is the vibe, you know, feel free to hard pan. It's a little extreme though. It's a little bit much, but you know, that kind of gives me courage to go further out on the sides like this. Let's see. Let's just. And then we end on this. So we have this guitar leaned a little bit to the left. Do we maybe, I'm kind of considering putting that over on the right ear a little bit. Because you see this horn stack right here is kind of leaned a little bit to the left. So really the way I had this was this horn stack was like leaned a little bit to the left. This, you know, trumpet lick is leaned a little bit to the right. But in relation to these two, where should this guitar lick go? You know, it's subjective. What else do we got here? We've also got this piano that's in the left. You see, there's just so much leaned to the left. Let's move this. Oh, I had it, okay, left there. So let's actually put this dead center here, and let's actually do our balancing in one spot. You know, we don't want to overcomplicate this. Okay, so we'll kind of use from here as kind of our jumping off point. Let's try 9 to the right. And we've monoed it dead center, right? So we know that 9 to the left is going to sound just like 9 to the right, pretty much. There's no weight in either direction. But you see, then it goes into this little lick that's also leaned to the right. I feel like I kind of got to pick a lane. Like, is this going to go on the outside? Is this going to go like... Yeah, you see, this is why I had this leaned to the left, is because this is leaned to the right, and it goes into this guy. Yeah, no, I see why I did that. Let's... That does feel pretty cool. Yeah, I think we're gonna leave it leaning to the left, but I'm experimenting with, like, you know, where exactly in this left it's sitting. Also, we might play with the compression a little bit. Okay, so this is quite compressed. That's sounding really good. How's the reverb on this thing? Oh, what you doing, bud? What you doing? Yeah, this is all on a new computer, by the way. So I'm like really nervous with every plugin I'm opening them up. I'm like, please work, man. Please fucking work. It's not bad. What if we did get rid of the mono on this? Not a huge... I actually do like this monoed, but maybe we do the reverb. I was gonna try to do reverb and then compression, but maybe we put the mono before the reverb so we get some width on that reverb, you know? By the way, what's up, Mars? How you doing, man? Welcome on in. I'm glad you can make it. Oh, whoa, that sounded better. You see, so like the guitar itself is monoed, but we get this really cool width on that reverb. It's like this vintage verb, you know? Like, that sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, it's not a stereo spreader. It's it's a really wide reverb on a mono guitar. Why does it sound like it's in the right ear there? That's strange. Yeah, there we go. See, but it spreads so much. Is this why I had it monoed after this reverb? Let's swap those. See, this is what it sounds like monoed. I feel like it's easier to keep track of in a mix like this. So like, I want to explain something to you guys real quick about like how mixing used to be done and why it really like, I don't know, this carries over into how I make decisions when I'm making a very crowded mix like this one. This has like a million details to it. It's kind of easy for little details to get lost. And I find myself in this sort of space, like, I want to kind of create space. I want to create separation between things. And one thing that I kind of take inspiration from is like how, like, for example, like jazz music sounded in like the 70s, 60s. Something about that time period just, I don't know, that I think is very distinguishing on like the quality of the sound, from that time period was like most of the microphones then were just mono microphones. Like they didn't have stereophonic, like directional microphones back then, right? So what were these mixes? Basically, it was like they would record everything in mono. They would send the mix engineer like a billion, mono trackings, and the mix engineer would be very meticulously spacing out all of these very, very like thin mono trackings to create this very immersive, spread out feel. But every single element of music back then was like mono. The only way that we got stereophonic stuff was from spreading mono trackings, basically, right? And I kind of like the sound of that. I find it very useful because think of like a soul album from like the 70s where there's like, so many instruments in it. But it kind of has this feeling where every instrument, every layer in it is like this thin detail, not like this super wide, taking up the whole space kind of thing. It's different. And you can borrow some of that logic when you're mixing in your modern tracks. You can say, well, this might sound better or more clean if I've got 8 things to spread out. Maybe I throw at least a handful of them in mono and, see if it fits in the mix a lot better. And I feel like that's kind of the case of what's happening with this guitar. This guitar just sounds better, like it's fitting in the mix a little bit better monoed, right? So, I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's something to consider, next time you guys are mixing. But yeah, Mars saying, I've listened to old records when all the instruments were monoed on the left and the vocals were monoed to the right. You see, that's where it's like, I don't know, sometimes the simplicity of it really like changes the experience, right? Sometimes dumbing it down can make it like a totally different vibe, I don't know. Yeah. And I feel like, also just speaking of like old jazz records, right? A lot of it's like, before they would even record into like all of these different trackings, all these different microphones, they would literally have one microphone in the middle of the room and they would position the band around this microphone. And that's like how they would get their recording. So it was like really like shuffling the drum kit like 6 inches forward or something like that, right? But I feel like that would create these mixes where like, you have like the drums over on the right, you got the piano off on the left, you've got the bass standing next to the pianist, that's a little bit more center, but it's like center left, and somehow it sounds good. It's just like, what is going on here, though? Sometimes you listen to some of these old mixes that are just like, recordings of rooms, and it's like, wow, this feels like it shouldn't feel balanced, but it kind of is. Like there was some thought put into it, right? So I don't know, man. It's so weird. I like to think though of like how a lot of, because I'm a sample-based hip-hop producer. I love a lot of older music that like, I don't know, I listened to a lot of like jazz music, and I feel like the 70s had like a certain sound to it, and it was just really great stuff. But that's where I kind of become obsessed with like how these things sound, like how Bobby Hutcherson albums sound, like he's a vibraphonist from like the 70s that if you were to hear some of Bobby Hutcherson's stuff, you would be like, this sounds like hip hop music, because it's just such sampled material, right? It's got a certain vibe about it. I don't know. I could yap at you guys all day about this kind of stuff. Let's keep it moving forward in this mix, but it's just interesting stuff to think about, Okay, so yeah, we got this guitar. Let's hear this together and really reconsider the spacing of this. I think we moved it a little bit more center. Yeah. Until one day a guy named Jeff got stick with 2 tape players and a vinyl cutter. Yeah. It's funny, where the biggest evolutions in music's come from? It's from some pasty dude with really long hair playing around with like tape or whatnot, going, guys, I just figured something out. I always like to tell artists, like, if your engineer is some pasty white guy that doesn't look like he's ever seen sunlight and has hair down to his waist, that's how you know you've got, like, a wizard of an engineer working with you. Like, I feel like the hair especially, the longer the hair kind of dictates the wizard status, I don't know, man. I hope one day I am just, like, a gray-haired hippie dude that is just making the most phenomenal music, I feel like sometimes I see these guys that are just like engineers you've never even seen before or heard of, but their credits like are astounding, and it's like, boy, this guy's probably got stories. Oh, yeah. Aspirations. I'm gonna be the pasty white guy that people are like, wizard status. look like I never see sunlight, you know. I'm just like stashed away in the studio. Yes. Studio hermits that haven't seen sunlight in a decade. Yeah, that's where I'm heading. I'm telling you guys right now. They had them at Abbey Road. Those guys thought it was a village. 100%, dude. All right. So, I think we removed a lot of the fuzziness that we were getting from, from like the OTT. I'm liking that. The balance of things, I think I'm feeling pretty okay with like how things are spaced. I think gain staging is still kind of to be determined here. I think I want to start getting my drums sounding how they need to sound. And then I'm going to probably try to do some trickery with this sample material. You see, this bass is attached to this sample material. And I think the plan is we're going to separate the bass from the rest of the sample and we're going to process it differently. This is just like something that you're going to see a lot of hip hop producers do when mixing down a sample based track, is they'll like split the sample into different bands of EQ, you know, and they'll just process the different bands of EQ a little bit differently, you know. So I think that'll be good because that could allow us to keep that bass monoed, but we could like add a little bit of width to the mid range, right? Could be kind of cool. So yeah. Thank you, Mars. I'm glad you're liking this track. This is, in case if anybody didn't, hear my intro to what we were doing today, this is actually the title track to my upcoming 26-track album called The Low Key Plan. This is one that I've been really looking forward to mix, and I feel like the vibe of this track totally encapsulates what this album is and kind of what it is to me, you know? It's a bit of a come-up album, you know? It's like, I don't know, it's a really like, let's get this bread kind of album. It's got some really baller stuff on there, and I feel like this song just kind of encapsulates what this album is, you know? So let's keep diving into it. I think next stop is drums. Oh, yeah. The low-key plan. This is sick. Also, fun fact, the first track on the album is called The Man with the Plan. And it's pretty baller. I think you guys are going to like it. Who's low-key? Me. No. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to destroy these drums. These sound awesome, but at the same time, I want to get a little bit extra from them. So I'm going to, oops, what did I just do? Undo cut track, there we go. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to call this guy the original drums. So we can always go back to this. No matter what, if I totally fuck it up, it's all good. Like, we're going to call this new drums. There we go. All right. Now we're going to turn off the original drums. We're going to focus on redoing these drums. I think back when I made this track, I didn't have a lot of the fancy Sound Toys plugins that I have today. So I'm going to want to maybe get a little bit of Decapitator on here. I feel like I could get more out of these kicks. We'll probably mess with the gain staging a little bit. Let's first of all get a little bit of Decapitator out here. All right. See, we could go for a little bit of crunch like that. I don't know, though. I feel like it's kind of taking something out of that low end, you know? Maybe we go instead for like a splash of radiator, a little bit of saturation. Maybe something like this. I don't know, though. You see, I feel like we just got a good thing going with this drum bus. This is what it sounds like without the drum bus. And then with this on, you know, it might just be that we need just like a little dash of compression to really kind of squeeze this together. But I don't know. Yeah, I think I need to like stop overthinking these drums and just kind of like go with what's feeling best, you know, which to me is like this drum bus. And I want to like see if I can get a little extra from it, maybe change a little bit of the attack of these drums a little bit, you know, with a little bit extra compression, you know, but yeah, I see Mars says, I can't remember who the engineer is, but he'll stick a decapitator on 90% of his tracks and leave it off. He says just the preamp gives his channels enough juice. That's interesting. I hadn't considered that. I know sometimes people will even put compressors without even using the compression just because of the way that it passes through the preamp. Yeah, like, I don't know. That's interesting. I am kind of curious. Shall we try it? I don't know. Let's try it with like 0 and do a little bit of A/B testing. So this is like completely 0 drive. You can see it's still pushing up the needle though. I don't know. See, what I'm hearing though is it feels like it's kind of taking a little bit of the body of the low end out of my kick. Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting point though. Something to kind of play around with for sure. Let's see. What do I want to use? I usually would go for the LA2A compressor. I've been really enjoying just slapping a little dash of LA2A on the end of my drums. However, I recently got the 1176 from Universal Audio, and I kind of want to mess with it, just see kind of like what it's doing. I really am still getting to know this compressor a little bit, so bear with me. You know, I don't know if we're gonna, you know, we're probably gonna thumb through some presets, see what it can do, and then kind of mess with it from there. Huh. I'm kind of enjoying the sound of this. It's very slight. It's got like no attack and all release. Barely any ratio though. Yeah, Mars says, I think the black one is in Opto, the blue-gray is a FET, and the beige one is a VCO. So yeah, this is the FET. This is the 1176 FET. And I honestly, being completely real with you guys, I don't know much about it. I just got this one because I don't know how many of you guys caught this. Universal Audio recently gave away this plugin for free, but I think they just ended it. I think they just ended their giveaway of this. But it's certainly something to keep in mind. I see a lot of mix engineers using this 1176. Yeah. I can't wait to dig in, though, and kind of learn the differences. I feel like that's one of my favorite things when I do get, like, a new compressor or something. I like to kind of learn about, like, the history of the compressor. I like to learn what it's good for. I like to kind of, like, look up how people use it, and if I see an engineer using it, I like to spy on them, see how they use it, you know? I can't tell if I'm enjoying this because of like loudness bias or because of the compression. It feels a little bit more vibrant. Like the clap sounds great. I think I'm happy with this. The only thing I really changed about this was I turned the ratio to 20 instead of 4. Really upping the amount. Now I do feel like this kick can come up. Woo! All right, but let's test this against the LA2A. I'm going to remove that. I'm just turning it off. Let's pull out the LA2A. And let's give ourselves choices, you know? We like having choices. See, like, I love this LA2A, man. I feel like this has just, like, been my compressor for lots of things, you know? I've really enjoyed putting, like, a little dash of compression on the end of my drums, just kind of squeezing them a little bit. I feel like this just helps everything just kind of gel into each other. Like, man, it feels really good feeling that kick go, you know, right next to that, clap. It just feels a lot more liquid. But let's just go back to that 1176. This kind of has some definition about it, though. This has a lot of low end, it feels like. I think this is good. But yeah, Mars says, have you ever heard Joseph J. Pugh's concept on using the compressor as a time constant plugin? I don't think I have. Yeah, he says it's a really interesting idea that will change the way you think about compression. Yeah, I've honestly never heard of it. I don't know if there's like a layman's summary of it that you could lay on me. But yeah, I don't know. I've found myself using a lot more compression, and now I'm kind of in the phase of like backing off and being a little bit more sparing with how I use compression. I don't know. It's been a full circle relationship with, compressors and me. I think I'm going to go with the 1176. I'm liking this. Having a three-dimensional utility? Well, damn, I feel like I would have to really look into it. I feel like we got a little bit of loudness bias with this LA2A. So I want to try to match the loudness of these two so we can make an even more informed decision. So let's group these. I'm really liking this 1176. I think I'm going to go with that. All right. Lots of deliberation on like the tiniest thing. That's okay. Let's keep that. Okay, so I think we're going to kind of separate this out a little bit. Let's, I'll tell you guys what we're going to do. I think we're going to pretty much do this. I just duplicated this, and we are going to use this EQ here. It looks like we've done nothing with it. Let's try to figure out where that bass really is. Okay, so we've got that. Yeah, let's check this out. I want to make sure this section sounds tight. Okay. Okay. So we got that. Now let's put this up here, but we're going to swap the direction of this cut. Boop. There we go. Easy. We might even pull back a little bit on it. And I think we need to have a control group, basically. where we have it all together and see how that feels. So let's group these guys. We're gonna yeah, they sound pretty you know, perfect right here. They sound like they mirror each other, you know, pretty perfectly. So now we can afford to actually like process these a little bit differently, you know. But yeah, and I see Mars saying, yeah, he uses the compressor to change the linear time rhythm of the compressed audio to shift it within the song itself. The attack and release knobs are essentially time adjusters. I would have to see that in action, I feel like, before I could fully wrap my mind around it. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm kind of thinking, what if we, like, this is our mid-range and higher. What if we unmonoed this? I need to have a look at what's going on here. Let's pull out our imager. Just have a peek under the hood. Okay, so it's pretty much mono. That's what it was beforehand. Now, what we could do is we could give it just like a little bit of body. We still want it in center, right? Now, I think that this will have to be turned down, this top guy, if we widen it. And then I think really it's just like a matter of gain staging. Like let's just bring this bass upwards. And I feel like we could compress this even harder down here. Okay, now this is where we really got to make some tough decisions about, like, we want this bass to be present. We want it to be really forward, but at the same time, we want that kick to punch through, right? We don't want this bass swallowing our kick, really. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking, well, sidechain, right? And it's like a real question. It's like possibly, possibly this might be an appropriate spot to sidechain the kick to the bass. But if it doesn't really feel glued together, we're going to have to find a different way of making these two work together, It's always kind of like my biggest, like, I don't know, just sometimes sidechaining really is the answer, and sometimes it kind of interrupts that relationship between drums and bass. I like it feeling like my kick, like rather than my bass landing right on top of my kick, I like it to feel like that kick fully, like we fully feel that in our chest, and then that bass note rings out just on the other side of that kick, almost like it's a result of that kick, right? That's how I really envision the relationship between like kick drum and bass, So, sometimes sidechaining is like a brute force way that you could kind of duck that bass note out of the way, but sometimes that kind of makes it feel a little bit disconnected from the other side of the kick. We want these to kind of feel connected, right? You see, it's like, it's just good things to think about, things to kind of like consider when you're really trying to get that, that interaction to work out. Because right now, this is feeling like quite muddy. It's because we really compressed this. We'll kind of bring this down a little bit. You could drive the upper frequencies of the bass, keep the kick in a particular frequency range with dynamic EQ. Well, here's the problem, though, is that we've got this bass baked into this sample material. We cannot go any farther than 240 hertz right here. This is like the cutoff point of where our bass ends and where the, next one begins, So, we'll see. What's up, Jams? How you doing, dude? It's good to see you, man. Welcome on in. Got ideas. We're going to so we are going to be sidechaining a little bit. We're going to attempt to Duck Buddy's good. I have a different ways that I like to sidechain though. Let's see. So this one is going to be our sidechain signal. We're not going to hear it. We're just going to isolate. I think we're going to use both the kick and the snare cymbal, or the snare signal. Where's our snare? There we go. Okay, so now, and it's a good question of, do we want this? Like, we could have this on like the top end. Right now, let's just try it applying to the bass, and we'll just kind of see how it goes, but we'll see. Hey, thank you so much, Jams. I really appreciate that, dude. Let's see if we can get a good side chain going. Keep it tight is really what we want. We really want this tightness, Rather than these huge dramatic duckings, we want divots, little tiny divots, So let's see. We're going to go no attack, a little dash of release, but we're going to pull that ratio all the way up. And we're going to sidechain and use our sidechain signal, right? See, if we pull that threshold back too much, it doesn't matter how little release we give it. It's going to take time, right? What we really want is to increase our ratio, but we can't increase our ratio any more than we have right here. So here's a little workaround that I use. Boop. Boom, we just increased our ratio by doing it again, basically. Let's pull back on this threshold on this second one. Might even throw a third one on there, get even more ratio. Okay, this is starting to come together. See, we're doing a little bit of A/B testing here. Hell yeah. Thank you, Mars. Now I think we can afford to bring up this bass a little bit more. Yeah, that kick is prominent now, right? It's good. Here's the thing, though. I feel like now's a good time to be revisiting gain staging and just asking ourselves, is this the volume that we want these drums at? You know, because remember, this is like the oldest piece of advice in the book that you'll hear every mix engineer say. Loudness is all relative. So if we decide to bring down our drums, it's almost like we're bringing everything else up, you know? Like, yes, we want our drums loud. Yes, we want them punchy. But we also got a lot of other things in here that we want loud and, you know, prioritized. And right now, I'm kind of thinking we need a little bit more mid-highs. We need a little bit more like this trumpet. We need more like... Or the sample material. I'm just gonna start keep bringing things up one at a time. You know, the more we affect the core of the track, the more different it's going to sound from the intro and the outro. That's okay, though. We'll cross those bridges when we come to them. Let's listen through it from the beginning. Make sure that intro, you know... Honestly, it'll be a good thing if this feels souped up and beefed up compared to that intro, right? Dude, we're getting places with this. I'm having fun with this. Yeah. Okay, this is so buried down here. And it's because we took off some of that OTT. I'll tell you guys what I want to do. I think I want to boost it a couple of dB, and I want to raise some of the EQs. Although there is still some OTT fuzz on here. Maybe instead of like across the board raising those highs, we're gonna like boost in the mid highs. God, it's that OTT. Yeah, this fuzz is just like not doing it. How else can we do this? I might just start throwing compressors at it, you know? Pink Floyd vibes? Yo, yeah. Yo, let's see Pink Floyd make something like this. Like, this needs to be bright. What if we used Ableton's OTT instead of Xfers? Almost worse. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know enough about how Ableton's OTT works. At least on Xfers, I've got this upwards knob that helps kind of scoot down some of these. I guess really what this is doing is it's changing the input values, right? So if I turn down the input values over here, maybe just like on the highs. See, I feel like all this OTT compression is just going to give us fuzz. That's the issue. Really, we want that brightness. We want that crispness. We don't want that fuzz. So let's try a different way of compressing. Again, I'm going to bust out the 1176. I am still learning this, so bear with me, but... Boy, there's just like quite a bit of volume difference in there. Let's flip through some presets here. See, there's just some fuzz baked into this sample. And that compression is really bringing it forward. I mean, I should expect as much. This is a tape piano, you know, so it's kind of like it's, you know, it's going to have some fuzz on it. That's fine. Let's try an LA2A. Let's turn that 1176 off. Okay, so I'm thinking we could do something like that paired with maybe we actually do cut some of those highs of that fuzz, like, but keep it like way up here. There we go. On the 1176, the higher the number on the attack, the faster the attack is. Interesting. So it's not like giving it more. You see, this is where I was telling you guys, like, I need to do my research on this 1176. Because in my mind, how this would work is like more attack means more time, right? But less attack means faster time. So you're telling me that the lower the number is, the faster the attack is? Or I mean, no, I've got that backwards. The higher the number, it's opposite. That's so weird. So this is like no release, all attack, right? That's so weird. Let me try this backwards. You see what we're learning today? Turn off that EQ. Turn on the 1176. Interesting. So let's watch this needle. Let's swap these. Yeah, so yeah, I can see the release is taking so much more time here. What? Okay, you just taught me something. Thank you. This is really more what I'm looking for. I'm thinking this is what I'm going to do because it is a tape piano. It's going to have some fuzz. I'm trying to mitigate it by I'm chopping some of the highs, which is not ideal, but this might be the best choice for us. Now it's a little bit loud. We can kind of like turn this down a little bit. Alternatively, if we want to make this brighter, and I think that's kind of the goal, sometimes what I like to do to make things feel bright is I cut out some of the lower, resonance. Now, this is also going to be like, we see we're hacking and slashing to our EQ here. We're getting stupid hands-on here, but this might be cool. Yeah, you see, so that might be more the vibe, right? We make it more like kind of radio process by narrowing this band. But then let's boost it up. I'm liking this. I don't know. I think that's pretty good. So yeah, and we've got like... Okay, I'm liking how that compression is sounding actually. Wow, let me go back to my drums, take a look at my drums, because that's wild. Yeah, we did have the 1176 here. That's so interesting. I was like pretty happy with how it was glued too, but I want to try the opposite now. Oh, I like it with all attack, no release. That's so weird. I usually don't do all attack, no release on drums. Maybe this is what I should be doing, because this sounds pretty great. You know? Yeah, Mars says, yeah, I really love how the Fairchild dials in. The Omnisphere drives me crazy. Fix one thing and something else needs adjusting. Yeah, I know, I got you. Playing cat and mouse with it. Oh, and you know what? I just realized something that I need to do. We haven't saved this project yet. I need to do a save as so that we can preserve the original project file, right? So let's just do that real quick. I'll call this mix v1. Cool. Easy. All right. I'm liking how this is coming together, though. We're really going over this with a fine-tooth comb. You know? And that's the idea. Like I was telling you guys in the beginning, I think it's, you know, it's a matter of improving the sound by like 2%, 3% here and there. You're just like, oh, let's get this a little cleaner. Let's get this a little punchier. Let's get this, you know. And over the course of time, you end up with something that is magnificently different and better, right? But I don't know. I think that you just got to kind of have, you know, be objective and don't be afraid to really deep dive into even the smallest details. It's fine, you know. This will be mixed when it's mixed. We're in no rush. We get one chance to really get this right, you know. It's the title track of the low-key plan. Like, I got to make sure this sounds immaculate, right? And who knows? I might even go over this again off stream. I usually like to, after I finish up a mix session, I will listen to it. I'll listen to the demo for a little while. I will make observations about it. I will go back and do like a V2. That's expected. I feel like I can't really call a mix done until I've sat with it, you know, for a day or two, you know. But I think we're dialing in, though, on something that sounds, you know, like I said in the beginning, a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more interesting. Like, yeah, we're hitting something good here. So anyways, looks like it's done saving. Let's see where we're at. Okay, now we can kind of bring this piano down a little bit more and bring this guy up a little bit more. Yeah, and this guy, just looking at the EQ here. So yeah, this is like really between like 1 and like 3K hertz, you know, We also have kind of isolated this piano down to be around a similar, you know, we might need to kind of figure out our priorities here. Let a little bit more of that low in. Okay, so we'll let a little bit more of that low in. We'll turn this down a little bit. We'll turn this up a little bit. Perfect. Nice. How would the 1176 sound on this guy? I'm just curious. I'm just really curious. How would that feel? We've already got so much compression, but just think of this as raw audio after this complex change, you know? Like, we're just gonna try this. See, this is kind of what I'm thinking. I want to do something like this. Let's actually pair this with this guy. Let's try to eliminate loudness bias. Okay. Yeah, this right now we're applying this to the vibraphone down here. Sorry. This guy. And you'll hear this has fuzz. We're not going to concern ourselves too much with this, though. This, trust me, this one is fucking hard to tackle, but... Well, maybe we could. Nah, let's just roll with it. Yeah, and I see I even purposefully gave it a little bit of that upward. There we go. Oh, we got so much on this already. That is saturation and compression. We've got a multi-band compressor right here. We've got some saturation from this drum bus. We've got a little bit of both, I think, from the sketch cassette. This is just giving it a little bit of a brighter quality, and we do have some extra compression here. There is a little bit of saturation there. Then we've got it fed into this LA2A, which is just kind of squeezing it a little bit extra before we finally throw it into this vinyl, which kind of does a little bit of an EQ cut. We decided to kind of squeeze that cut a little bit more in this EQ. And then after that, this is what I'm experimenting with, is I'm just trying to squeeze it a little bit more, right? It's kind of goofy. It's kind of goofy, you know? But yeah, trust me, saturation on these vibraphones are not going to sound good. It's just going to sound crackly, distorted. It's going to make the frequencies that are, you see these really big peaks, it's going to make that even more problematic. I'm okay with the fuzz on this one. You know, it's kind of giving that range a little bit more body. I'm thinking we're just gonna turn this group up a little bit more. Okay, that feels much better. I just turned it up by 1 dB and suddenly this feels like a much better transition. You know? Like, that works out nicely. Okay, good. That feels good too. Oh, man. That's good. Okay. Wow, I'm feeling really good about kind of roughly where this is at. We might be dialing in on time to, time to kind of start mastering. But like, man, yeah, let's really listen through this a little bit. Man, I think before we start mastering, I'm going to grab a little bit more coffee. Real quick though, yeah, we're gonna probably like listen through this, do our final touches on this mix, and we're gonna begin the mastering process. And I'm hoping that this is gonna be super transformative. Now, yeah, while I go heat up some coffee, I'm gonna be like 2 seconds. Just want to remind you guys, if you're looking for the music, TapDaddy on all platforms. I'll drop a little link in chat for you guys. Definitely check it out. I recently dropped an EP called Sunrise Serenade. I just dropped a new single called Non Compos Mentis. And I got a new EP coming out soon called Snack Time for Turtles, coming out in 7 days. It's going to be awesome. So I'll play you guys a little bit of Sunrise Serenade while I'm getting some coffee. But yeah, I'll be 2 seconds. 2 seconds. All right, I'm back with hot coffee in hand. But yeah, you guys are listening to Sunrise Serenade right now. Beautiful, beautiful little 7-track EP. I love this. I love this so much, man. Beautiful stuff. Anyway, goddamn, I'm so lucky to just be working on music all day. I love it, man. I can't get enough of it, honestly. This is like what I spend all of my time doing. And I have not grown tired of it yet. Let's back it up here. We're going to really kind of take a magnifying glass to this mix now. We're going to really just make sure that we are feeling good with things, and then we're going to start compressing it in the master. We're going to begin our mastering process. And I'm just expecting that as soon as I touch some compression on the master, I'm probably going to notice things about this mix. And we're going to have to go back and I'm going to, like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like as soon as I touch some compression on the master, I feel like I reevaluate my entire gain staging, But that's good. It's part of the process, right? So let's bring it back. Let's listen to the low-key plan. Let's see it. I feel you, man. Everything else gets in the way. OTT is bothering me. Okay, I'll tell you guys what. And turn that down a little bit. There we go. What did you use for TapDaddy samples? Suno? Nah, never. I like to pay artists and whatnot. Really, this one was just a splice sample. Nothing too fancy. I forget what sample pack I found it in. But yeah, literally, I chopped the sample. Here is the sample unaltered. Okay, this was made by a real person. This is, some producer on Splice made something gold here. And what I decided to do was I decided to layer up on that, basically, right? So I added like a trumpet lick to it, something else that I found, I then combined the two, blasted them through OTT, pitched them down, and that's how we got this intro. And then you hear I added some applause behind this intro. Oh, and I also monoed it, I don't know, it's so sick, man. Hey, I try not to overthink my sample material. All that I really care about is permissions, that I have permissions, that no complications are going to happen further on down the line when this song has over 1 million streams, which it absolutely will, because it is amazing. But it's like I only really care about the permissions. And I see a lot of debate about Suno, but I feel like that is such a gray area that I'm certainly not willing to touch it with a 10-foot pole yet. And quite honestly, I feel like there's just some glaring legal issues with all of the AI generated stuff, which, and I see it debated either which way, but I feel like my bottom line argument, but for why I haven't yet, is because legally it's just like such a gray area. It would be such a gamble, So, yeah, he's like, yeah, I always make my own sounds, except drum kits. I mean, yeah, one-shots are one-shots. I feel you, man. Hey, Stink Out, what's up, dude? How's it going, man? It's good to see you. Hell yeah. Welcome on in, dude. You caught us just in time. We're touching up the title track for my upcoming album, The Low Key Plan. This is the title track, and we're about to get mastering here, but we're just kind of touching up our last minute, details. So let's run this back again. Let's run this back and let's just kind of see. But yeah, Steakot, how you been, man? It's good to see you always. Let's check this out. So yeah, we got nice intro. Yeah, I feel you. Okay, there we go. That's good. What? Stink out? What? Dude! Congratulations, man! Oh, Stink out, I'm so happy for you. That's awesome. Dude, congrats, sincerely. That's awesome, man. I hope it's awesome. I don't know. I feel like... I feel like I always gotta ask people, are we celebrating? Are we celebrating it? No, that's amazing, man. Wow, that's a huge milestone, man. That is huge. Oh, that's great, dude. Is this your first, or is it another little Funk Master? Yeah, he says a little Funk Master on the way. Ah, yeah. Oh, dude, I'm so happy for you. That's awesome. Dude, that's great. Man, I was not expecting to hear that sort of news. That's just amazing, man. Yes, a little Funk Master. If you guys don't know, Stink Out, his full title is Funk Master Stink Out. He took the crown in one of our, Battle of the Funk, I believe it was. So since then, he's been Funk Master Stink Out, and now he's got a little Funk Master on the way. Hell yeah. First! Wow, so that's a huge milestone, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. I can't even congratulate you enough. That's awesome, man. Wow. So now I'll remember while I was mixing down the low-key plan, we heard word of a little Funk Master. That's awesome. God damn. Man, I think that this is coming in nicely. I think we're about ready to start throwing compression on the master. Okay, I'm finally feeling satisfied with these vibraphones. It's just amazing. I feel like I am now in a better mood for you. I'm happy, man. I'm so happy to hear that. That's awesome. Okay, and that transition sounded great. See what our max peak value is. Minus 0.81. That's good. It's snugly up against the top. We started this mix with about 5 decibels of headroom, and we got this, like, we definitely added a lot to this, but it came just under where we needed it to be. So, I think what I'm going to start with now is we're going to run this through the Shadow Hills master compressor. And then we'll really reevaluate our, gain staging, really. We want to just, I feel like as soon as I run pass audio through, like, this master compressor, I start thinking about, but is everything like really balanced before we start squeezing it, But let's just start. Let's see, what would be a good place? We'll start in one of these hook sections. Boy, why is this not? Oh, it's because I had it. Okay, I see. I'm being silly. I turned that off on accident. I meant to turn the sidechain on. Okay. Woo. Now let's get a little bit of the discrete in there. Start moving it up. Boy, you can feel this discrete gain getting that mid-range. This feels good. One last thing before we continue with this master. That sounds great. I wanna reevaluate our guitar right here. I just want to check in with it, make sure, because this one I've been kind of on the fence about, and I also just want to make sure that this piano is sounding great. Nudge this guitar up a little bit. We're doing good. Doing good. Hell yeah. Make sure we don't break our max peak value though. Oh, we're getting close. Oh. Now, these two notes right here, I think, are just a little bit loud. Like, those seem appropriate right there. That feels a little loud. I don't know, that time around it felt a little bit more appropriate. Let's turn this guy down a little bit. Okay. Nice. All right, let's bring it back over here. Make sure this all sounds good. Nice. Yep, and I like that piano. Yeah, you can really hear it now? Yeah. It's coming in, man. How do we feel about this guy right here? Could bring this up a little bit. Maybe, yeah, we do have it squeezed a little bit with this compressor. You know? Yeah, that's coming in nice. Okay. There we go. But yeah, Stinko says this is a banger for sure. And with a few tweaks, you can make a second version in a lo-fi style. Oh, I bet I could. Yeah, so this is the title track for my upcoming album, The Low-Key Plan. Let me see if I can just pull up the artwork for you. This is what I've been really hard at work on. Yeah, this is going to be my next full-length album. And this is the title track that we're doing today. Yeah, and you know, the idea of this album, it's kind of a come-up album, you know? It's very like, it's kind of a let's get this bread kind of album, you know? And I feel like this title track kind of, you know, really really encapsulates like the vibe of this whole album. It's going to be 26 tracks long, and it's probably going to be dropping sometime in May. So I think it's going to be cool. Yeah, he says, you have a beat called Low Key Plan, right? Okay, so you're probably one of the only people that remember, that has been around long enough that you probably might recall the Low Key Plan cipher. I'm not going to lie, that beat was so old, right? And it was a Bobby Hutcherson flip. And I really liked it. And we had a good cipher going, you know. But also, I can't release that song on any platforms. And I love the name, The Low Key Plan. So I did. I stole my own song name. And I made a new Low Key Plan. And it's going to be the whole album. You're probably one of the only people that, you know, would even know that I have another beat called The Low Key Plan. I'm totally stealing my own song. That's funny. I was kind of wondering. I was like, is anybody going to call me on this? Like, yeah, no, you're smart enough to call me on it, man. That's great. But yeah, no, new Low Key Plan. That's awesome. All right, let's bring it back. I think we're about ready to throw on our Ozone maximizer. Let's listen all the way through. Make sure that we're vibing with this. Make sure that our max peak is below 0. But yeah, we can go ahead and pull out our U-Lane loudness meter. Why not? Just see where we're at. it's getting close. Minus 0.15. Is it gonna pop up above? And we got quite a ways to go in terms of LUFS. I think my target is at least minus 10. But I will allow for it to get as high as minus 8. Which might be a little hot for this track. I'm not sure. I think minus 10 might be a good spot for it. I think we're going to be hitting it pretty nicely at about minus 10. Okay, yeah, we're in a great spot here. Okay, yeah. All right. I think we're gonna bust out our ozone elements. Here we go. Let's put this on the master. There we go. We'll pull our loudness meter out from behind that. Now this might get a little loud, just warning you guys. Volume warning. We're gonna let Ozone master this. We're gonna let it analyze it and recommend some bullshit to us, and we might use it. We might completely change everything, but let's just run it through to get a starting point. See kind of what it thinks it should do. Turn on true peak. We're gonna go all the way up to the ceiling. It really didn't do much with the EQ here. It just did this little lift at about 10K. I don't know. I kind of like it. It's, nothing too crazy. We might experiment with this a little bit. But let's get our loudness about locked in. Wow, we're already like up there. Let's run it all the way back. See what our LUFS value currently is. Considering something. Now that we're hearing this at full volume, I'm kind of thinking if I turn the drums down by 1 decibel, we might be able to make the rest of this track feel pretty big. Let's experiment. Just 1 decibel. And now we can push a little harder. Also, what if we did something like, I want to experiment with so like, what if we kind of lifted these highs a little bit more? we're getting places with this. It's subtle. We're not really boosting by like a whole lot. But I'm trying to shift more weight towards the higher frequency just to get this overall more energized feel out of it. Yeah, I feel like this is our real like power range in here. Like this is where we're getting a lot of our energy from. We'll go like 1.4, about 1.5 decibels up at about this like 2K-ish mark. I'm even thinking of going 1 more decibel lower on the drums. It's so squished you can barely tell, but I think it's allowing a little bit more of other substance to come through. Let's run this back from the beginning. Let's see where we're at with our luffs. Like so tough. I love it. Hell yeah. It looks like it's settling at about minus 11 luffs. I think we got about 1 more luffs value to increase to. And I think rather than pulling the threshold back on this maximizer, I'm thinking I want to try throwing a color limiter on here. Let's see, master limiter. And we're going to just nudge it. Like, basically, we're going to hard cap the roof at 0 dB, and we're going to just be like, okay, now let's raise the floor. You know? That's what it's going to be. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're getting there. We're like right at the finish line here. So we're going to make sure our ceiling is 0 dB, and we are just going to nudge this like maybe 1.5 decibels into the ceiling, basically. Now let's run it all the way through. It's just gonna squeeze it nicely, you know? In a very clean way, because we're limiting. We're not like just compressing, we're limiting and pushing it up. God, I'm so glad I went really wide on those details, you know? That intro seriously reminds me of Pink Floyd. Hell yeah, man. No, I kind of get where you're coming from with that. We're at minus 9.9 loves. I think this is about where I want it. We could push it a little bit further, but I'm thinking this is like right where we want it. This is like pretty much on the bottom end of my LUFS range that I'm going for this album. This album's going to stay between minus 10 and minus 8 LUFS. And so far, the majority of the tracks have been like between minus 8.5 to minus 9. Now, something to keep in mind about LUFS values. This has a lot of intro and a lot of outro that's not at full volume, and that is bringing down the LUFS value. So despite it being minus 10 LUFS, the real bulk of this is looking like it's like minus 8-ish, which is right in the range that we're looking for. See, like... And I think that this is like kind of where we want it. Let's make sure though, because I did hear a couple of like these guitar notes were like running pretty hot in here. I like it though. See, that just, it feels like it swells up here, right at this note right here. We're going to bring that back a little bit more. We're good. Oh, yes. Man. Oh, no. I just wish this track was longer. Oh, dude, well. I'll tell you this. It's surrounded by a lot of really good tracks, and the album is going to be 26 tracks long. You're going to have plenty more of this. You know? It's gonna be good. So, yo, guys, this is coming out on my Spotify. This is where you guys can find me. This is gonna be dropping sometime in May. I also just want to let you guys know, Snack Time for Turtles. It's a little 4-track EP that I got coming out in 1 week. 7 days, 6 hours, 44 minutes, and 53 seconds. So, Snack Time for Turtles is going to be a really fun one. I'm not going to lie. This was kind of some very eccentric beats on here that I think you guys might enjoy. I'll just drop a little link to the pre-save page if any of you guys want to pre-save it. Yeah, go check out all the goings-ons on my Spotify. I got a lot of good stuff. But the big one on the horizon you guys got to witness today. Nobody has heard the title track for the low-key plan. You guys are kind of select crowd here that got to hear this before the rest of the world does, you know? Oh, man. I think we need to hear this one more time, just beginning to end, and God forbid that I hear something in here that I don't like. But I think that this is going to be the title track, The Low-Key Plan. Let's check it out. Let's just hear this one more time. Right. Ah, man, dude, this was awesome. Thank you guys for hanging out and watching me mix this down. The next time you guys are going to hear this song, it is going to be on official platforms, probably sometime in May. Sorry to make you guys wait, but I will have it coming out early on my Bandcamp by hopefully a whole month. We'll see. I don't know. I'm hoping that I'm going to be finalizing these tracks, shipping it off on Bandcamp for anybody that wants to find it early. I'm going to drop a little link to my Bandcamp as well, TapDaddy.bandcamp.com. In case you guys don't know, I like to drop my music early on Bandcamp, ahead of all of the official platforms and all of that, just to show love to whoever's paying attention to my Bandcamp, basically. So you guys might be able to catch this 26-track album, The Low-Key Plan, hopefully sometime here soon. No promises on exact date, but I'm going to try to get it up on Bandcamp as soon as humanly possible. So, goddamn, thank you guys so much. Congratulations one more time to Stink Out. He's got a little funk master on the way. That's just amazing. I'm off to go sip a beer by the pool with my wonderful wife. And damn, I feel very accomplished today. Thank you guys so much. I'll be live on Twitch tomorrow reviewing music from all of our subscribers. The link to my Twitch channel is in the description. And also, if any of you guys are looking for a mix engineer, I've also got my email listed down there. So definitely reach out if you need mixing services or if you need a producer. Hit me up in my email. I am looking for clients currently, so it'd be a great time, So anyways, God damn, this was such a fun one. Yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you again for hanging out. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.